It's a place that attracts thousands of tourists each and every day, one that people still regularly dream of experiencing for its rich history and culture. And it's also the place I've called home for the past 2 years. Italy is a unique, complicated, and as the wonderful Stanley Tucci succinctly puts it, exasperating place. It's somehow loud and busy, but empty and quiet at the same time. So very old and yet so very full of life. I came here principally to immerse myself in one of the world's strongest and most beloved food cultures, to learn and to enjoy. I also came here with the dream of finally learning another language, of meeting new people, and drenching my pale Scottish skin in sunlight, and of finding a quality of life that I just simply couldn't seem to find at home. As catastrophically cliche as it is, I wanted to try to learn, to fail, to discover, and in 2 years I've been given the chance to do all of that and more. So at this point, I'd like to invite you to grab a hot drink and let's have a chat about the chaotic, messy, beautiful ride that this 24-month period has been. I won't lie, the food is still as good as everyone harps on about. You're probably sick of hearing me and the Instagram girlies, the TV chefs, and everyone talk about how fresh and flavorful Italian food always is, but it really, really, really is. 2 years in, and I'm still not sick nor tired of the traditional, the regional, the special, or the everyday. Unlike back home in Scotland, Italy can rely mostly on its own produce each season to feed itself, from dripping fresh peaches in the summer to roasted radicchio in the dead of winter. Since I posted the 1 year in Italy video this time in 2022, I've eaten in more big family dining rooms, tiny apartment kitchens, roadside bars, and fancy restaurants, and have nothing but good things to say. In just the last year, I've had the joy and privilege of tasting supplì in Roma, baking with hazelnuts from Piemonte, shoveling down forkfuls of ragu in Emilia Romagna, sampling salami from Napoli, and of course, scoffing sardinzor in Venezia. And it's all bloody good. Comestibles aside, there's a good reason why people love Italians, and I love them even more now than I possibly could have last year. I'm a foreigner, and an awkward and shy foreigner a lot of the time, let alone my additional socially inept British tendencies, and I've never felt so quickly included as I have here. Dai Veneti ai Siciliani, tutti mi hanno trattato come un'amica. I've cried, laughed, screamed, worked, napped, argued, celebrated, cooked, eaten, and lived with Italian people for 2 years now. I've learned so much about how to look after myself and others, and how to be a more sociable and confident person in every sense. Most still haven't fully grasped the concept of forming a functional queue or of not driving like they're in the last lap of Mario Kart's Rainbow Road, but I love them all the same. Some parts of everyday life here still drive me absolutely nuts, but other parts I now feel like I couldn't live without. Above all, change is difficult, guaranteed, and beautiful. I've swapped Scotland's rugged northeast coast for Italy's historic northeast lagoon, and both are still even more different than I could have ever expected. I feel like I've reached the stage I've heard so many immigrants and expats talk about, where you somehow feel like a local and a foreigner in both places. Some part of me, even after just 2 years, still feels far too British and even more Scottish to ever feel Italian, and yet a bit too Italian to ever blend perfectly back into Scotland again. I don't know if it's just the superficial things like the way I eat and dress, or things that become deeper every day, such as the way I speak and even the way I think. My workmates will never quite get the hang of my very Scottish terminology for certain things, while my Scottish family still need a lot of training in my half baked Mediterranean hand gestures. As I've mentioned previously, I miss British politeness and awkwardness when I leave it as much as I miss Italian sincerity and vivacity while I'm far away from there too. But beyond what I learned and experienced in my first year here, I didn't just leave my bubble of comfort in 2023, it burst. The last 12 months have both scared me senseless and brought me back to life in a way that I wasn't actually sure was possible. I've made decisions I didn't think I would and had conversations I never wanted to have, yet I've also achieved things that past Kelly would have thought ludicrous and experienced feelings that in 27 years I'd never felt before. In un certo modo, forse come tanti altri immigrati, non so più Chi sono io, esattamente? Vi devo dire, non è che questo è un discorso solo grazie all'Italia specificamente. L'Italia non è un posto magico in cui si diventa una persona più grande e più interessante. Sono sicura che questo può capitare anche in Argentina, in Australia, in Canada, ma a me è successo qua. Mi sento come sono cresciuta 10 anni dopo solo 2 e chissà dove sarò o chi sarò tra un altro anno.